Hello, everybody. This is Wolrig, and welcome to episode 52 of Infinity Evolved. So, still working on Spatial I/O, and today we're actually going to do something about it. So, I've got a stack of inscribers here, and I'm just trying to decide how I want to build them up. So, I think what I'm going to do is probably just build a single stack. Let's see how high we can go. 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6. Yep, that's as high as we'll be able to go with that. So that won't work. Let's go ahead and just put in front. So let's do a stack of 4 and a stack of 3. How about? Yeah. And those numbers will make sense here shortly. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to have some multitasking inscribers. So each one of these sets of columns is going to be responsible for a specific type of circuit. And I'm going with 7 for a very specific reason, and that is because a single I/O or a single applied energistics subnet can only take 8 channels. So 7. Cool. Alright. So let's see. This is going to be logic and calculation, engineering, and silicon. And then these last 2, I'm probably just going to do a couple of... Probably don't need to do all 7. Maybe I'll just do a single stack of 4 on each side. Just because. And these will be the final stage assembly. And I've left a space on the bottom because I need to be able to run some cabling underneath here. And I think I'm going to run some cable down the center to feed this whole thing off of. Yeah, that should work. Alright, so what else do I have in here? I've got a bunch of export buses. I need some import buses. Let's go ahead and get those queued up. About that many. I don't know exactly, but it's going to be something like that. And then I'm going to need to kind of wire these up. So I'm going to start with the import buses, and I'm going to cover the sides with import buses. And there's a reason that I'm doing this all in applied energistics, and that is because the spatial I/O chamber here will only move certain types of blocks. I hadn't really discussed that in the last episodes. So it will, of course, move applied energistics, because that would be silly not to. It will also move vanilla Minecraft blocks, but everything else has to be whitelisted, and so there's a specific compatibility mod that things have to be built against in order to be able to work with the spatial I/O chambers. And so the other mods that I know work are Tinker's Construct and MineFactory Reloaded. So I think there's a couple other mods that I'm not as familiar with, but those are the main ones that I know do work with this. But applied energistics, of course, does work, so I need all of my blocks to be based on applied energistics. And I've realized that my spacing here is not ideal because I don't want to touch this wall, because I don't want to cross my networks across. So I need to move this whole thing over 1 block space. Well, that is unfortunate. I guess let me do that. Okay, moved over 1 block space. and spaced them out a little bit. So I've got the 4s and 3s spaced out so I can actually see them in action. I haven't put down the other ones yet because I'm not really sure where I want to put them. I'll figure that out here in a bit. Import buses, here they are. Okay, import buses go on this side. So what we've got here is that the export buses will place items into the inscribers, and the export buses will pull them out. Pretty simple. And as I said, we're going to be doing a bunch of subnets here to save on channels, since we don't really need to give these guys dedicated channels to do their work. So I'm going to now need some more anchors, because of course I need to make sure that I keep stuff separated well. Fortunately, these anchors build pretty quick. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we are going to wire these up, each one as a subnet. And that's going to connect there, there, and there. And then we're going to need a few, need some more of those. Some of these quartz fiber pieces. And if you remember, the quartz fiber allows power to transfer through, but not data. And so that's where this is going to be handy, because now these two can connect and they will not cross. They'll just send power through and not data. This way I can keep everybody connected. Oops. Nope, I want that to, actually, you know what? I don't think I need those at all, because I can send the power in from the bottom as well. Why don't I just do that instead? Alright, let's get all these wired up. Cool. Looking good. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the import buses. Alright. So I've started wiring everything up now. And how this is working is the stack here will actually, these machines will send power through each other. So just being stacked like that is enough to get power through them. And I've got the power coming in on the bottom here. And this, as you can see, it's using, shouldn't be using any channel, or no, it's using 2 channels. I've got 2 channels in use here, and there's a pair of interfaces that are consuming those 2 channels right now. And I'll kind of describe this over here by wiring it up the same way. So I've got the wires coming underneath, and I've removed a couple of wires here, or a couple of cables, so that I don't get accidental connections along the way. And what I'm going to do is make this symmetric. So this first one here, I'm going to put an interface down, and I'm going with the multi-block interfaces here. I'm going to put an interface there and an interface there, and then I'm going to put a storage bus on top. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow these machines to use the primary AE system as their storage. So when they go, when these import buses pull in, they will have a valid exit through this storage bus into the AE system, which goes actually back to the other AE system through another storage bus interface coupling like that. And then this one I'm going to use to pass power through, so that this subnetwork over here gets power, and we should see that device, that storage bus, comes online, as do all of these import buses. So with the inscribers, with the import buses and the storage bus, there's a total of 8 channels in use. And if we just right click on this here, we can see 7 import buses, 1 storage bus, and everything is in use. Drawing 18 RF a tick, not bad. And then we'll do the same thing here, because, you know, symmetry. And that's essentially what I've done on this side. And then as far as on the inside here, I'm just putting in quartz fiber. I don't need to do both of these legs because I only need to get power from one of them. But for now, it's just as easy to separate them out with the quartz fiber and pass power through 2 legs instead of 1. So now we should have a total of 4 channels in use out of 32. Perfect. And you might be asking yourself, well, we've got 32 channels, why don't we just use them all? And if you do the math here, I'd already be pretty close to using up most of them, and I need to do a lot more connections. And with this quantum bridge, I can only get 32 channels through it. I can only tie it to a single face of a controller. I can't get any more, so I'd have to put another quantum bridge elsewhere in this room if I wanted to get more channels. And I don't want to do that because these quantum bridges are expensive. This whole network right now is drawing 2.5 thousand RF a tick. Yeah, that's a lot of power for a network that doesn't actually store or do anything yet. The controller is, I'm sure, not helping that. Anyway, we can see that actually. Let's see how many, where's our controller blocks? 112 controller blocks, and they are drawing 672 RF a tick. Cool. All right, so what are we going to do now? So what we've got is these import buses will pull the items out of here and put them into storage. Perfect. That's fantastic. So what we need to do now is get a setup here to give us the ability to pull items out and pump them up into these inscribers. And then we actually need to get some additional inscriber plates because I don't think we have enough. Hey zombie, how you doing, buddy? So in order to make more inscriber plates, what we need to do is put down an inscriber, and let's find out what we've got for the plates. Let's just start with the silicon. Okay, I've got 1. In order to make more, I need to make 6 more. So I need to get some blocks of iron and a hopper. And this is how you make more inscriber plates. So I'm just going to stick that on there, throw in the block of iron, and put an inscriber plate on top. And I should actually get some acceleration cards as well, so that I can speed this whole process up. Oop, don't want that many. Good grief. 4, 5, 6. Cool. With that one, that gives me 7. So now I can go over here to these 7 and throw in an inscriber plate. So I'll have 7 inscribers that can do silicon, and I'll do the same for the all the other ones. So I will come back when I've got all of the inscribers in place. Alright, I've got all of the inscriber presses loaded up. So this one is calculations, that one's silicon, this one is logic, and this one is engineering. So I have 7 of each for a grand total of 28. The next thing I need to do is set up a way to build a recipe so that I can request these things. And I think what I'm going to do is actually put in a whole block interface here, and that way then the channels will pass through nicely. And I'm going to line them up so that there's that one there, and then this one will be here. And that should make everybody happy. What I should be running about 6 channels? Yep, perfect. 6 channels once it all came online. And again, because these are whole block spaces, the dense energy cable, or the dense cable, will connect directly to the face of it. So now I need to take and put a chest here and another chest, please, like so. And this is going to, let's see, I need to rotate this. to get a different wrench to do the rotating. So that way and that way. Okay. Cool. So now I will output in the up direction. Oops. Nope, I need dense cable. There we go. And I'll do the same with this guy. There we go. In the up direction. Perfect. So now what I will do is... Why is that red? Oh, because I've been jockeying channels around, so this keeps resetting. Okay, no, that's fine. So now what I'll do is I'll be able to put the recipes in here. And actually, what I'm going to do one more thing before I put those in permanently. I need to do one more thing here with. Hold on a second. Okay, like before, like I did with the point-to-point tunnel, I can actually take my quartz knife here and some iron. Let's grab 2 pieces of iron. We've got a couple of inscribers with us, so I don't need to do anything fancy here except give it power. And then what I'll be able to do is actually name these interfaces. Let's name this one silicon and what else? Silicon and calculation? Oh yeah, okay. Silicon and calculation. Done. And then the next one we will name logic and... Well, that's not cool. I can't right-click in that. Logic and engineering. Cool. So now we've got nameplates that have specific names on them. So we'll put that back. So this is going to be logic and engineering. And we'll press that name onto the interface. So now it says logic and engineering. And then we will take this plate that says silicon and calculation and press the name on here. And what this is going to do is make it a lot easier to find these on the network. So now if we go and put these down, here's logic and engineering. That's not the one I need. I need silicon and calculation. Cool. I'm going to do that and do that. It should give me an up arrow, which it does. Perfect. And then this one, do the same. Right-click that side, right-click this side, which gives me the up arrow. Cool. So now what I can do is if I go up to my interface terminal and I look, instead of just saying chest, like the rest of these do, if I scroll down here, I should see nothing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, you know why? Wrong network. Wrong network. Let's go ahead and make an interface terminal. That shouldn't take too long. And we'll just put him here for now. Interface terminal. There we go. Logic and engineering, and silicon and calculation, and a whole bunch of nothings. So I've got other interfaces here that aren't connected to anything. Really? What other interfaces are you picking up? Oh, it's picking up those guys. Yeah, and they're not tied to anything. And then it's picking up the one that goes over to the other system. Well, cool. Anyway, that's how we're going to find those very easily on the network. So then what I'm going to do is put storage buses on here, this side and this side, and same with these guys. And just like that, now I've got, with the import or the export buses, they are going to pull their storage through this storage bus out of this chest and export. And then what I'll do is I'll actually put in filters so they can only export certain items. and I will filter the storage bus so it can only see certain items. And so then what I'll have is a recipe in here, in this logic and engineering, so it'll have gold and, what is engineering? Pure? Is that right? Engineering presses or processors come from those which are diamonds. Okay, so diamonds and gold will end up in here, and these guys will output the gold, these guys will output the diamonds. All of it'll, when it comes back in through the import bus, it'll get dumped into the interface and back into the main system, which needs some kind of storage, which it has because it's using the storage off of the other AE network. So that is going to be pretty straightforward. Let me get those recipes queued up over here, and hopefully come back and demonstrate. Alright, I've got all of the export buses configured here with their appropriate items, and then I've also configured the storage buses and set them for extract only, so that there should never come a case where something would try to get stored into this chest, but, you know, if it were to happen, then I can deal with it. But I should be able to take half of my stack of pure and do that, and those will go off and do their thing. Same with the silicon, those will go off and do their thing, and once this finishes, the export bus, or the import bus I mean, should pull it in. Unless it needs to be configured as well, doesn't it? No, it should pull it in. Why, that should be able to pull out unless... Yeah, none of them pulled out, so... Device online... Unless it wants to pull from the front, which is a possibility. So let's see what happens if we just program this guy to import that. No, that doesn't work. Alright. I think I need to move these import buses onto the front face of this, which is a bit unfortunate. But actually, you know what? I bet I can turn these somehow. If I can get them turned just right. Okay, there's the face of it. I know this works because I've set it up like this before. All right, let me do some more tinkering around with this and see if I can't figure out what I'm missing on this. Okay, I've come across a few things that I realized I'm gonna have to fix. So the coupling here, I was thinking that this AE system with the big controller and the spatial I/O room, I was thinking I could use the storage of the other system, but I forgot that there was a change made where essentially you can only go through a coupling like this once per network. So the machine down there with its interfaces that need to go into storage can't go through this interface to get to storage. It can only go one deep. That was made because of reasons. If you want to know, go look on YouTube for the Super Sorin drive. It's a way of building ridiculously large storage array without having to use any channels. I've built one. It's pretty cool. You can't build them anymore. But what I want to do now, so I need to get some storage in place, and I just want to build a chest. Let's go with the Skystone chest. Why not? It's a good place to start. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw down like this and put a storage bus on it like that. And I should actually get some stuff dump in there soon, maybe, perhaps. There we go. Perfect. Yep. So what I did, as you see, that silicone came in because I realized that I wired up these wrong. Instead of import buses, these need to be storage buses, and this coupler needs to be an export bus into this interface. So the way that this works then is that these guys all become storage, and they are storage that feeds the export bus, and it's trying to export these silicon wafers. So once you make one, if we just go ahead and throw one in here, let's add some acceleration cards to speed that up. And it goes in, gets placed into this interface, which gets then dumped into the chest upstairs. Which now we should be at, what, 12? Perfect. 12. Cool. So that's what I need to do with the rest of these, is I need to put storage buses on here. And the nice thing with the storage bus, like so many other things from Applied Energistics, the memory card is going to come in handy here, because I can go over here, and with these I've got them programmed for extract only. So if I take that setting, I shift right click this, and then by default these are set for bidirectional mode, but if I just come through here and right click all these, now they will be set for extract only. So I have to do a little bit of rewire here, and can come back in just a minute. Okay, I think I've got everything wired up. The export buses here have been configured, and I'm missing a cable right there. Not really missing it. No, actually it was, because then those storage buses wouldn't be able to export out through there. And I think I've got everything right here. Cool. Everything's in. So this is what, logic and engineering, so I should be able to take that and these, throw those in, and they start going off and doing their various things. This one is silicon and calculation, and those will go off and do their various things. And if we watch, we should see it makes them, and then they disappear because they are going up top into my storage chest here. Perfect. That is fantastic. So now what I need to do is build the next stage of this, that I need to have all of these go into an assembler and get auto-assembled. So I think that's going to have to get built over here. Let me figure out how I want to space this out and how I want to build it, and come right back. Alright, so I think I've figured out where I want to put them, and I'm going to go with 8. I think. We'll see. I might end up taking 1 off so that I've only got 7. Actually, let's go ahead and do that, because I have a feeling that I'm going to want to do something similar as I did here, in that I'm going to want the inputs and the outputs to basically only take up a single channel to feed all of these guys. And what am I going to do for that? Well, again, I think I'm going to just kind of mimic what I did last time and get some cable. Let's get some smart cable cooking up here. I actually switched the bulk of this stuff over to smart cable because I'm using so few channels here. It really doesn't make sense to use dense cable. The dense cable just happens to kind of fill up more space, I guess. And why not? Let's keep it somewhat symmetric, even though I'm not centered. Because I can't be. I need to have a space there. But we'll go ahead and do this. Alright. We're going to get power to all this stuff, like so. And actually, this is going to be interesting. So we need to be able to insert in the top, in the bottom, and on the side. So we're not going to be able to send power across the bottom because we're going to need to use that to put items in. And I think that means I'm going to have to clear out some flooring in order to get to the bottoms the way I want to. We can connect them up like this. And I think that'll get power that way. go with an export bus on the top and the bottom. So one there, one there, one there. That'll work for now. And like that. And that will, let's see, we'll want to export on this one. I'm going to need an expansion card because I need to actually program in multiple exports on that. So let me go ahead and grab the card for that. It's going to be the capacity card. And I probably need to get a few more of those cooking up. So capacity card goes in there. That gives me more slots. The printed guys are upstairs. And what you'll notice is that I can't see into this chest with my wireless terminal. So if I look for printed, there's nothing there. But these guys are there. And that's because this coupling only works one direction. If I want to make use of it in both directions, I should actually just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to grab another piece of cable, and instead of the storage bus and the interface in that order, I'm going to do the interface and then the storage bus and then that. And now I should be able to see in both directions, which I can. Perfect. So now the system that has my wireless can actually see into this storage and can use that as storage if it wants to. We're not going to worry about that right now. So let me finish getting this wired up real quick. And I think we're just about to the point where we can make this work. So back in a moment. Alright, so I'm running a little short on time. I went ahead and wired up what I believe is going to be the working assembly model here. So there's 6 basically completion machines here. And the way that these are wired up is that there's 6 channels in use across the top as export buses into the top, and those are going to output one of the 3 types of printed circuit boards. The other 2 positions, the bottom and the face, these are where the silicon's going to come in the bottom and the redstone's going to come in the front, in the face of it. And so those are actually sharing a channel. And then the way that these guys are getting power is that they're getting power from the back side of each inscriber. So the power should come along once this is all wired up. We should get power through probably this guy down the center. Down the center, of course, the last piece is the storage bus, and then there'll be an export bus here. Let's go ahead and put that there for now, which will tie into an interface to feed everything back into the main system. So storage buses run down the center. Somehow I'm going to get power into this system, and these 3 subnets, and there's 3 subnets in use here. All 3 of them are going to share power through these quartz fibers, and then I do have just an extra one here for, I don't know, good measure. But basically that is the gist of what I need to get all configured up right now. And in order to do this, I need a couple of interfaces to slap on there, and then a few like this. Let's go ahead and throw an interface there for good measure, and then we'll light this side up, and probably, let's see what I want to do. We'll go that way, and we'll go up with this. Oops. Extra cable there, not necessary. And then I'm going to put an interface here. No, export bus here. Export bus here. And a chest. Yes. I'm kind of making this up on the fly right now, because this is not quite what I had envisioned prior to this, but you know what? I think this will work. Okay. So, and the smart cable is nice because you can start to see where all these channels are laying out and how the subnets break apart. So we've got various levels of subnettery going on here, with it all culminating of coming out of the storage buses and being exported through this export interface, which is going to need a capacity card, export bus into the interface, and off it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and get these all programmed with their appropriate pieces and parts, and then I will come back and show you the finished result. Alright, I think I've got everything programmed except this. Hold on. I need to go ahead and reprogram these storage buses so that they don't try to store the wrong stuff. So in the top, I have the capacity card upgrade and the 3 different types of circuits that are all going to be exported into the top position. In the face, in the front of this guy, I have it set for redstone, to export redstone, and on the bottom I have it set to export printed silicon. And then on these couplings, I have, these guys are both set to store a stack of redstone and printed silicon each. And they have crafting cards in them, but I don't have the recipe programmed yet, so they can't do anything. And if we look, we see that we in fact have silicon and redstone in all of these guys, so their export buses are working correctly. And then the last piece of this is that I need to program this with the finished circuits in order to get the export bus to put those back into storage. And so what I should be able to do now is just drop these guys in, and they should all go to a respective place somewhere. There's one. And the redstone and silicon repopulates when it's done, which is perfect. So those 3 went in and did their things, and now we come in here and program that interface, which will then just dump them in like so. And voila. So there's a few more things I need to do to finish up. Like I said, I need to get the recipes programmed in to these guys so that I have a way to request. And then I think I need to put in a couple of crafting towers. Since I've got some more room in this, or some more space in this room, I will probably do that in here. I've got a lot of extra channels because, let's see, I'm using a total of 10 channels to do all of this. Not bad, not bad. So, a few more things to do, and the beauty of it is, when this is all said and done, I can go over here and push the button, and the whole room disappears. And once the spatial I/O chamber comes back online, we see that, first off, we see that everything cleared out nicely because we're using applied energistics and vanilla Minecraft items only, so they clear out very nicely. And when I push the button, all comes back nice and neat. Everything is working, everything is happy. And once I get these recipes programmed, it will continue to function in its other dimension. So that is what I have left to do on this, which I will just do off camera. And when we come back, we will have a fully functioning multi-stage parallel processed circuit manufacturing facility. Pretty cool, huh? Leave a comment, tell me what you think. This is one of the more complicated machines that I build, and I think it's pretty impressive. So anyway, this is Woolrig. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.